people, spring is moving. Holy cow. Next week is A-Day. It's a spring game from Bryant-Denny. Tuscaloosa, 2 p.m. Central Time kickoff. SEC Network Plus will be airing the game, but right now it's Monday. You're rocking and rolling right here with number one form. Hottest show on the streets for your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you guys in here. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming it to you on YouTube. And speaking of the channel, if you have not done so, go ahead right now, hit subscribe, smash that subscribe button now. If you have friends that are Bama fans, family members who are Bama fans, get them to subscribe too, because if you love the content, they will as well. Also, don't forget to leave a like. Run those likes up. Hit that thumbs up button. Run those likes past the moon. Make this your show, your network, your channel, platform, and space to talk Bama. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing, absolutely nothing in terms of your Crimson Tide. We also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter, streaming to you the show. A lot to get to as first scrimmage of spring practice was over the weekend. A lot of news, nuggets, good stuff to improve on that we will dive into. We got my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, coming on to give us a recruiting update for the 2023 class. And a little bit of a Arch Manning watch. Who are the three schools right now that are in prime position for the quarterback of football royalty? That being one Arch Manning. Going to be fun to talk with Justin. And also, Coach Saban mentioned something really positive about this year's team. We'll touch on that as well. But we want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358 number to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. Let the passion ooze through the phone lines on this evening. Got to shout out Jamie Williams one time with that $4.99 in the Super Chats, helping us out here on the show. That daily Super Chat Go, $75 daily Super Chat Go, and it's Monday, so you know what time it is. Backed by popular demand, my brother in the building, Patrick down in the living flesh. Pete Money, what's going on, man?
What's up, Steven? I love coming in every single Monday and talk with all you guys out here in the chat, too. And just like you, I'm surprised that it is next week. It's moving by way too fast, man.
Way too fast. But Pat, you know, the good thing about this is this means football season will come in. It'll come in quick, and we'll get to fall camp and all that other good stuff. So we take the madness any way we can get it. So we're going to actually get into topic number one here tonight of the conversation. The spring scrimmage, the first one of three, was over the weekend. Coach Saban and the staff, they cut the lights on inside Bryant-Denny. They pumped in the crowd noise. The coaches took a step back. They let the players play. It's who can process quick, who can play fast, who can play strong, who can play physical, who can play discipline, who can prove that they have a grasp on the system. And this is veteran players as well as young players. And after the game-like practice, Coach Saban had some awesome things to say. Now, this team is still not where he wants it to be at. We all know this. But he had some really positive things to say. And Pat, first and foremost, he opened up with this: Jalen Milroe is for real. Second-year quarterback out of Texas, came to the 2021 class, 4-star. We all knew he was athletic. We know the athleticism, the leg, the movement, the ability to be that dual threat. But the question that many people had was, how much has he developed as a passer, as an accurate passer, a precision passer, the distributing of the football, the timing of it all, and grasping that playbook? And Coach Saban mentioned, hey, he took the first team offense down the field. He drove the ball effectively. He's made a whole lot of strides. Jalen Milroe at that first scrimmage said, do not sleep on me. I know what I'm doing, and I'm locking up this number 2 quarterback spot behind Bryce Young.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Paul Tyson transferred back in January, I believe, it kind of paved the way for Jalen Milroe to slide right in behind Bryce Young. And he's obviously taken full advantage of the spring, at least, because, you know, It's Nick Saban praised you in the press conference. It means big. It goes a long way for some of these young players because they gain confidence. And even though that they may not see the field, like Jalen Miller, I think we can both agree he's not going to push Bryce Young for any sort of playing time this season. But building that confidence now will only help him when his time does come around to compete for that starting role.
Well, and absolutely. And the main thing I think a lot of people just want to see is in matchups where you're handling teams. Let's get him on the field when you're handling teams. Let's see what he can do, right? Let's see what that arm talent is, the accuracy is, the precision is, the ball placement is. Because at the end of the day, after this season, you got to think Bryce Young is going to be the number 1 or number 2 overall pick at the worst in the 2023 NFL Draft. So as much as you enjoy Bryce Young, and you absolutely do, and you have to enjoy him this season especially, he's trying to repeat as the Heisman Trophy winner. In the back of everybody's mind, you think there is life after Bryce Young. And whoever that life is, whether that's Jalen Milroe, whether that's Ty Simpson, especially with how well Milroe played over the weekend, you got to get that future prepared.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play in A-Day because if he really does take these big leaps like we're thinking that he can do in terms of the accuracy and whatnot, I mean, he could be a really dynamic player because we all know he's very explosive with his athletic ability and his legs.
Jalen Milroe, somebody to seriously continue to keep our eyes on as spring practice goes on forward. But it all starts off, to me, Pat, you and I both know this, the offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
This was an offensive line a season ago that was just up and down. The inconsistencies were through the roof, but you made the switch there going from Doug Marrone to Eric Walford. And Coach Wolf has come in here, and he's pushed some buttons. He's shifted some things around. Javion Cohen talked about him. He's different, but it's worth doing this. It's a different atmosphere. It's a different vibe. It's a different toughness. It's a different brand of physicality. But we are going to embrace this, and it's worth embracing. And the scrimmage over the weekend, the starting 5 Coach Wolf had out there from left to right was J.C. Latham, Javion Cohen, Seth McLaughlin, Damian George at guard, not at tackle, and Kendall Randolph at that right tackle position. That was interesting. Of course, they mixed in some of Amari Kite also at tackle as well. Now, Coach Saban mentioned that there's some guys that are out on the offensive line. He talked about Darian Dalcourt earlier in spring ball. I think Emil Ekiyor did not go in this first scrimmage, so you got some guys banged up here. But, I mean, what does it say for you, Pat, to see Coach Walford come in here? He's changing some things up. He's pressing some buttons. He's pushing some guys around. He's trying to see what's my best, most dominant, nasty group of 5 that can get on the field and can really get us back to that physicalness in the run game, because Saban did mention we're running the ball a bit more consistently now than what we were running spring ball of last year. What is your assessment of Coach Walford coming in and pushing some things around?
Well, obviously after last year, something had to change, right? Which is like we've mentioned a bunch of times before. The offensive line was an area that was so inconsistent last year, and pass protection and running the football. There was a lot of times where they struggled to do both throughout the season. So I think Eric Walford, I think you've mentioned and I've mentioned before that I think he's a little bit better of a fit in terms of what Alabama wants to do with the offensive line. We want to bring that kind of nasty mentality back, and probably be a little more imposing in the run game, which Nick Saban said that they are at this point in the year when compared to last. So I think it's good too that other guys are getting opportunities at different positions, because you got to kind of build that depth, especially in spring football.
I just hope that if this is the 5, that it holds, because I like the idea of Damian George as a guard versus a tackle. As a guard, that big frame at 6'5", 6'6", 340 pounds, moving, coming right at you. I like him as a guard, but we'll see. You still got Tommy Brockermeyer pushing. You still have other guys pushing, but the 5 of Latham, Cohen, McLaughlin, Damian George, and Kendall Randolph, very imposing 5 there. That was in that first group. But as we look at these running backs, a position that Saban has no issue with. He likes all 6 of these guys on the roster. And while, of course, Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams still recovering from injuries they suffered last year, both guys should be good by summer workouts and fall camp. But We saw in the clips of the scrimmage a lot of Jameer Gibbs. We see the speed, the quickness, his vision to hit the hole, gone. We saw Trey Sanders rip off a couple of big runs in the scrimmage. He's saying, do not forget me. And then you got Jamarian Miller, a 4-star freshman enrollee from Texas. He had some nice little tough, nifty runs in there. So I think you got to find a way to get creative here with these backs, especially when you look at your four-headed monster of Gibbs, Sanders, McClellan, and Rodell Williams. You got to find a way. How do you keep all four backs happy? Because all four can do some things. And how do you carve out these roles here, especially when you have a strong running back room?
Well, yeah, that's gonna be the issue that Alabama needs to solve, because I think you can't necessarily play 4 running backs throughout the entire season. Well, maybe you can. Alabama did dip its toe into it with Bo Scarborough, Damian Harris, and Najee Harris. Yeah, so maybe, just to undercut myself, maybe there is a world where all 4 of these guys can get on the field and have some action, but. And they're all very versatile, too, in their own rights. I'm really excited to see Jameer Gibbs play in this offense, because I know we haven't been able to watch practices this year, but I want to see that. I can't wait to see this guy play at A-Day. But, they're all maybe he's more the, 3-down running back, maybe a little more on third down, catching passes, being that kind of electrifying, game-changing running back. I think, that could be his role. And even Jace McClellan, when Alabama lost him, I think they really missed his pass-catching ability too. But, he was just as good between the tackles. So I think it's going to be difficult, but it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, Pat. Now, the one thing that I could see that would help it is if Alabama can have formations like, remember, with Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin, they would have a formation where you have 2 running backs on the field at the same time. Both of them would be flanking the quarterback. So if Alabama could have that, where you have Gibbs and Sanders together at the same time, or Gibbs and McClellan, just somehow get 2 together on the field at the same time, maybe work a running back into the slot if you want to do that, maybe a Kenyon Drake type of ordeal. Just craft a way where you can get guys multiple roles. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but if anybody can scheme that out, it would be Saban, Robert Gillespie, and Bill O'Brien to figure out, okay, how can we scheme this to where we can keep all 4 guys happy but have strategic roles for them to be in. But this wide receiver room, Pat, is the one where a lot of fans are like, okay, Jermaine Burton's coming here. He's done some nice things, but who's behind him? And Saban mentioned JoJo Earl has come up. Christian Leary has come up more. The freshman, Aaron Anderson, keep your eyes on this dude, because if there is a freshman that can do some stuff, this kid from Louisiana, Aaron Anderson, is that guy. I mean, we got a chance, Pat, to see a clip today of him from the scrimmage. I mean, he was putting some moves on that first-team defense. I was like, whoa-wee. You get this kid on the field, some stuff can happen, some awesome stuff can happen. But this is a receiver group that's young, but you're starting to see some guys developing some consistency.
Yeah, you are, and this is all being done. Even a guy like Ja'Cory Brooks hasn't even been playing in the spring, and another guy that Sam brought up is Trayshawn Holden. Those two were the guys that were probably the most consistent in terms of the young receivers from a season ago. But like we mentioned, Jermaine Burton's the guy who keeps getting brought up, the transfer from Georgia. I think his added experience to the room is going to be a real benefit. But Aaron Anderson, that kid's got some burners on him, man.
That kid,
he can move.
I'm telling you, when you watch him, it's like, is this? And you don't want to compare, but you can't help yourself, because you look at so many guys at that receiver position that have come through. You look at what Jerry Jeudy did. You look at what Henry Ruggs did, and Devontae Smith did, and Jalen Waddle. And you look at Aaron Anderson. He's built in that same body frame. And then you watch the feet. You watch the low center of gravity, built low. You watch his ability to bounce off tackles. You watch the moves he puts on guys, and you can't help but to think, man, this kid's very similar to some guys I've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that many great receivers roll through, it's like you said, it's a little tough not to have those kind of comparisons. But if he could just carve out any sort of role, he's a young receiver, and there's room with a lot of competition, and he's another guy I can't wait to see on A-Day.
Him as well as Kendrick Law. Coach says he's been talking a lot about Kendrick Law as well. Another young man from Louisiana, 4-star right there in this class. But as we flip now, Pat, to defensively here for the Crimson Tide, the main thing Coach Saban has been talking about is that can Bama get that interior pass rush on the defensive line, primarily at the nose tackle position? That question was brought up, and Saban mentioned we got some guys that can do it, but we can't really name any of them right now because they haven't done it at a consistent level, and we don't want to single anybody out because we have to see if they can prove it. But there's some guys on this team that can serve that role. DJ Dale can be an interior pass rusher, but does he come into fruition as that guy? Tim Smith can do it. Jamil Burrows can do it. Jamarian Latham can do it. Stephon Wynn can do it. Damon Payne can do it. You look at two of the early enrollees. Big Jahim Otis can do it. Curtis Perry can do it. The question is, who ends up really truly doing it? Because after losing a Phil Mathis, who had 9 sacks a season ago, 12 tackles for loss, it's a big hole that has to be filled. And can it be one guy that emerges, or do you see it more so as interior pass rusher by committee?
Well, I mean, Alabama in the past has kind of had the luxury of going from Quinnen Williams to someone like Christian Barmore. So I think, to think that you're going to have 2 elite guys like that or another elite guy like that step in, I mean, I think it's a little tough and unfair, but so it might have to be by committee. I think we all look at Tim Smith as the kind of the natural pick because he has that kind of similar frame.
Right.
But like we said, he's one of those guys who's got to be consistent, especially going into the season. So it might be a little bit by committee as of right now, but who really knows at this point? And I know it's not really an interesting answer, but sometimes we don't know.
I mean, it's always, and that brought us up too, Pat. It's the guy that you think is going to do it sometimes doesn't, and the guy you haven't even talked about blows it out of the water. And that's the greatest thing about college football and Alabama football is you never know who is the guy that's going to actually take over. It's great to have depth, and Alabama's got a ton of depth on this defensive line, but you never really know who is that guy that's going to really click in for them. They take that mantle and they run with it. So I feel like there's 2 positions defensively, but if Alabama can shore up, this can be a really good defense. This can be a really outstanding defense. And you look at the nose tackle position, you got to shore that up. And then whoever plays next to Henry To'oTo'o, whether that's Jalen Moody, who will get the first shot at that, or whether that's a Deontay Lawson or one of these younger guys, if the weak side linebacker spot and the nose guard spot, if they show up and show out, this could be an Alabama defense that can give people some serious problems.
Absolutely. They brought back a bunch of guys from a season ago and brought back maybe the best player in the country in Will Anderson. They also have Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell as well.
He's starting to step up. He's starting to show a little bit.
Yeah, he's gaining a lot of momentum as well. He had a really good performance in the past scrimmage when Will Anderson was sitting out. So, I mean, they're loaded on that side of the football, and even if it does come down to a rotation at the nose tackle, or if it's someone like Jalen Moody who's very experienced in this system, I mean, like it could be a special defense this season.
We're going to be looking more and more at Alabama as spring practice continues. The A-Day game next week. Man, this spring went by fast. A-Day game on April 16th, Bryant-Denny Stadium, 2 p.m. Central Time kickoff. SEC Network Plus will have the call there on that. We're going to go to a break here, folks. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we go on the phone lines. We grab your calls, your tweets, your chats, your interactions, a dialogue with you. The Bama Nation comes right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Back into the action here, folks, from the break. Number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Tonight, the national championship game for the NCAA men's basketball tournament between Kansas and North Carolina. Big ups to both teams. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Big kudos to Coach Dawn Staley and South Carolina, the women's basketball team, winning the tournament. Coach Staley has done an incredible job at South Carolina, but we're going to go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name, where you calling from.
Oh, that pound cake. Don't make a mistake. Get out on Emily's and buy you a cake. Well, Stephen, I'm still here. I see everybody's in the chat here. Everybody's looking good. It takes each and every one of y'all to make this the hottest show on the streets, the number one show on YouTube, 160 in chat. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. I still see where the damn secondary can't tackle. What is going on down there, Stephen?
Okay, so I think in that clip, when I would like to believe Jordan Battle wraps up on Aaron Anderson, and maybe he heard the whistle, or maybe Saban said that's enough. I don't know what, or maybe he wasn't trying to hurt the young man, because Aaron Anderson's not a big guy at 184 pounds, but still just did not look right when you have Aaron Anderson right there. He spins out of your tackle and goes 40 yards down the field.
No, it don't look good. But anyway, this man's been wanting to come on the show for months. He's back. Give me the phone. Oh, is this Stephen M. Smith? Is it Coach O? I'm back. Is it Coach O? I just want to get on the show and say hello to Stephen M. Smith and everybody. You know, I used to be coach down at LSU, but now I'm a coach at the high school, junior high school. But anyway, I still got me enough money to get me a corn dog, but I'm going to get out of here. Go Tigers, one heartbeat. Give me that phone there. Get out of here. Anyway, I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. We'll be back on Wednesday. Bye-bye, everyone. Go get out of here, Ed. Help me, Stephen. Bye.
I got you. We got control, Ed, over there, man. We got you, man. We got you loud and clear. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M. Smith, Justin Riley. What's going on, brother?
Doing great, Justin. I mean, some good stuff from the scrimmage. Some good stuff. I know some things needed to be worked on and improved upon, but Saban had a lot of positives from that first scrimmage over the weekend.
And rightfully so. I mean, we're coming off a pretty awesome weekend with scrimmages. Heck, WrestleMania was going on. I'm watching that video with Aaron Anderson. Yeah, Jordan Battle got tossed aside, and then all of a sudden it was like watching Mama, There Goes My Ankles, when he completely shook Kyrie Jackson out of his cleats and then picked up an additional 40 yards. Man, excited to see what this kid could possibly bring. And I already talked about it over the weekend, man, my boy Jahim Otis. I've been telling everyone to watch out for him, but everyone's trying to bypass what I said like I didn't say anything. This man is a guy to watch out for. He's already lost 46 pounds, so the focus and the drive is there. I honestly expect him to push for playing time some point this season.
I think Jahim Otis, Justin, will get reps. I think he will get reps because the determination that this young man has, I kind of look at it at the same scope of Terrence Cody. Remember Terrence Cody was 410 pounds when he went to Mississippi Gulf Coast. He was 410 pounds. When he got to Alabama, he dropped to 385, got playing time, was highly effective, and then the next season he played between 345 and 365. And at that weight, Terrence Cody was still two-time first-team All-SEC, two-time first-team All-American, Chuck Bednarik Award finalist, Bronco Nagurski Award finalist, Lombardi Award finalist, whatever you can name. Terrence Cody was right there between 345 and 365 pounds. And when you look at Otis coming in here at 370, big, massive man, and he's dropped nearly 50 pounds, that just shows you he want it. He want it bad, and he letting you know he coming after it. So I think he will push for playing time, but the determination of that young man is special.
Oh, without a doubt. I think you have your next Nagurski Award winner. One final thing I'm going to say right now, people do not need to sleep on Trey Sanders. I've heard a lot of great things about Jason McClellan, what he's going to do, talking about Jameer Gibbs. And they've earned the talk. They've earned the chatter. But Trey is going to have a big season. Don't sleep on him. Get ready for him to finally erupt and prove a lot of the naysayers wrong who pretty much thought that it was time for him to hang it up. He's going to have a special year.
Appreciate that call there, my man Justin Riley out of Mississippi right there. And Trey had a good scrimmage. He rushed for 73 yards, had a big run where he shook a guy off and ran wild down the field. So Trey is as healthy as he's ever been up since his freshman year prior to the foot injury. So he will have a lot of things to say in this running back room rotation. 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We're going to a quick topic, and this is on Bama in the NFL in terms of Rashaan Evans, former Crimson Tide linebacker, has found him a new home in the pros. After 4 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, he has now signed a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons get some defensive help at a position of need at linebacker. It's on a 1-year deal for Rashaan, but hey, he goes to the ATL, he stunt, he boss up, he show out, he makes some plays. Possibly that 1-year deal can become a lot more for him. So kudos to Rashaan Evans getting this opportunity, a 2-time national champion for the Crimson Tide in 2015 and 2017. But absolutely keep your eyes on one Trey Sanders. He has not given up on this thing, and I'm proud of him. His determination, his toughness, his desire, his want to, his perseverance. He means a lot to this team. He means a lot to this locker room, and it's just a big deal seeing him have success there in that first scrimmage over the weekend. But we take a break here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we'll be joined by the real legend, our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, to break down last week in recruiting weekend. What could we see in the A-Day recruiting weekend? And the latest on Arch Manning. Who are the 3 teams vying for his commitment? We'll talk to Justin after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian or Jamarian.
And we're we're locked and loaded from the break of a number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news, notes, commentary, entertainment, that being, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. But right now we go over to the phone lines where we get the legend, the real legend, boots on the ground. Nobody covers recruiting quite like this guy right here. He's going city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Justin Smith probably has a passport to check out our next recruit in Sweden or somewhere. But Justin, welcome to the show, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Steven. Always happy to be on.
Always happy to have Justin Smith on the show right here. And Justin, so first and foremost, getting down to business, Arch Manning, the 2023 five-star quarterback, was back on campus over the weekend for Alabama's first scrimmage of spring practice, the man of football family royalty, the Manning family. But the question has come down to is there are three teams vying hard, three schools vying hard for his commitment, one of the top quarterbacks in this class right here. Justin, who are those three teams? And at this point, does Alabama still hold a firm position of getting that yes in terms of a verbal from Mr. Manning?
In a good position. I think you can argue that they are at least among the top two when you consider the three teams, when you look at Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. And I think these are the three schools most people are talking about when it comes to Arch Manning's recruitment. I know we heard of Florida a couple of months ago, but I think these are the three schools that it is going to come down to when you take a look at the recent visits that Arch Manning has made. He has been to Tuscaloosa, he has been to Athens, he has also traveled to Texas to check out the Longhorns. And I think I've talked about those particular schools and what they have in terms of working to their advantage when it comes to Arch Manning. I talked about how the Texas program has a rich tradition. And I also think you can get some great NIL deals at Texas. And I also think Steve Sarkisian is a great offensive mind, which Alabama fans know all too well. So we know what advantages Texas have. We know that Georgia is a great program coming off of a national championship with a walk-on quarterback. That is a selling point right there for Kirby Smart and his coaching staff. We did that with a walk-on quarterback. Imagine having you a five-star quarterback to go along with the other five-star recruits on our roster. You know, the consistent, dominant program that Alabama has been over the last decade under Nick Saban. The Manning family respects Saban. He respects the Manning family as well. So the Crimson Tide have that working to their advantage, along with getting him back on campus for a third time. Getting him on campus as many times as possible is very beneficial for the Crimson Tide, especially in the spring setting. Just talking with some of the recruits who were on campus with Manning over the weekend, they talked about how impressive that scrimmage was. Every recruit I talked to spoke highly of the scrimmage in terms of how competitive it was, how organized it was, and they loved how the coaches were fired up at the scrimmage. So I think the scrimmage was a great opportunity for some top recruits to see what Alabama has to offer in terms of that competitive nature in person. Not really on the TV. You get to see their behind-the-scenes look at a practice, and I'm pretty sure that impressed a lot of recruits. So I still feel that Alabama's in a firm position. If I had to make a prediction, I would say they would be easily in the top two, and you could put Texas and Georgia interchangeable. But if I had to make a decision or make a prediction about who will be his top two, I'd probably say Alabama and Texas right now.
Now, Manning is the biggest draw of the guys in this 2023 class. When you talk to Alabama fans, the main guy they bring up is Arch Manning. But, Justin, there were also a lot of other high-end recruits, high-end targets, big-time prospects in Tuscaloosa over the weekend for the spring scrimmage. Who are some of those other guys that you saw taking the scrimmage, taking the game like practice, and really enjoyed themselves? Who are some of those other five-star big targets for 2023 that were in the scrimmage, that were at the scrimmage?
Yeah, of course you got five-star defensive end Jaden Wayne, who spoke very highly of the scrimmage as well, said he hated that he did not get an opportunity to see what Anderson play. He has talked highly of Anderson's play in the past. He really looks up to him and former Oregon defensive end and projected first-round draft pick Kayvon Thibodeau. So he really likes both of those guys, and he said it was disappointing that Anderson did not participate in the scrimmage. Of course, that was by design, which Nick Saban said. But he said it felt good to hear pass popping at the scrimmage. visit was a great visit. He said Alabama was at the top of his recruitment, spoke highly of his conversation with Nick Saban, said he believes everything that Saban is telling him. He doesn't feel that he's putting up a front or lying to him. He feels that everything that Nick Saban is saying is truthful. So the Crimson Tide remain in a firm position with Jaden Wayne. They also had 5-star defensive back Caleb Downs on campus out of Georgia. He told me that visit went great. He had an opportunity to spend some time on a couple of Alabama defensive backs, including Malachi Moore and Brian Branch. With Brian Branch being a Georgia product, they have that in common in terms of being some of the top defensive backs in their respective recruiting classes. They had 5-star running back Justice Haynes on campus out of Georgia as well. So the Crimson Tide had a long list of 5-star recruits on campus, including a 5-star 2024 running back in Cam Davis, who's currently verbally committed to Florida State. I had an opportunity to catch up with him as well, and he told me that the visit went well. He's building his relationship with Alabama's coaching staff. Talked about his conversation with Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide running back coach Robert Gillespie. You guys can check out that article over at touchdownalabama.com. So the Crimson Tide had a loaded recruiting weekend over the weekend, and this is going to be the norm for the next couple of weeks leading into A-Day.
If you're just tuning into the show here, we got my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine here on In My Own Words. If you have not checked out his show, The Process, you need to do so every Tuesday and Thursday right here on our YouTube channel. Justin breaking down like none other every piece of information, every piece of data, analytics, tape on these young athletes as they make their decisions in terms of going from high school to the college game. Now, Justin, the A-Day game is next week. I know it's crazy how spring has been moving rapidly, but, how many guys do you anticipate being on campus in terms of recruits taking in the spring game at Bryant-Denny?
It's going to be a good number. More guys are going to say that they're headed to Tuscaloosa. I feel that will be a great, conclusion to the spring that the Crimson Tide will have a lot of guys on campus throughout this weekend, including 5-star linebacker Malik Bryant out of IMG Academy. They have some in-state recruits on campus today, so they're going to have a lot of guys visiting heading into A-Day. I know right now 5-star wide receiver Brandon Ennis has announced plans that he will be at the University of Alabama for the Crimson Tide's A-Day, that spring game, but he has changed his visit day a couple of times now. Hopefully the Crimson Tide get him on campus on A-Day. And when he has typically taken visits, he has taken visits with his 7-on-7 team, which includes a lot of 5-star recruits in the 2023 and 2024 recruiting class, including Cardinal Tate, 5-star defensive back Kamani McClain, who actually took an unofficial visit to Alabama recently, and another 5-star wide receiver in the 2024 recruiting class in Jeremiah Smith. So the Crimson Tide could possibly have an opportunity to host some of his 7-on-7 teammates who will possibly take that visit with Brandon Ennis on A-Day. So the Crimson Tide, in my opinion, will definitely have a big A-Day, but some of those names will start to emerge over the next couple of weeks.
He is Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine, coming on here to give us the update from the recruiting weekend for Alabama's first scrimmage, a little update here on one Arch Manning, and what could we see from the recruiting trail in the A-Day game next week. As always, my man, take care of yourself. Be good. Stay safe, Justin.
You do the same, Steven.
Always fun having Justin Smith here on the show talking Crimson Tide recruiting Bama, trying to get some more commitments here from this for this 2023 class. Hopefully they'll be coming in soon here. But we take a break right here, but don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your ideas. Let your opinions and passion be made known now, right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we're back into the action here, folks, from the break, #1 show for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We're at 77 likes right now. We need that 100. Let's get this thing up to 100, baby. Run those likes past the moon. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Make this your show, your network channel and space to talk Bama. You guys are doing a tremendous job. Continue hitting that like button. Get this thing up to 100 likes here on the show. But right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment's brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
What's up, Stephen? This is Ricky Green from Dalton, Georgia. How's it going?
What's going on, Ricky? What's happening?
Not a lot. I was actually just over on my way to my brother Randall's house, got that notification on my phone that my boy Stephen was going live. I suggest everybody take a second, hit that bell. That way you'll never miss a show. Like Stephen said, this is the place to be for Alabama football. And I just wanted to call in for just a minute here, Stephen, and talk about expectations for this upcoming season. Where are your expectations for this year's version of the Alabama Crimson Tide?
My expectations, Ricky, is to get back to the national championship and win it. And you go back, you look at last year's team, it was a young group. It was a group that, people felt like it could be a championship team, but there was not a lot of veteran leadership. You were led by two sophomores, Bryce Young and Will Anderson, and both of those two young men were outstanding. Both should have been in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation, but Bryce Young was there and won the Heisman, and this team came so close to winning the Natty as a young group. You bring back so many veterans, especially defensively now to this group, that leadership has rounded into form. You replace some coaches, but you got some hard-nosed, savvy, technically sound coaches in here. I think this group gets back to the national championship, and my expectations for them to win it.
Absolutely, Stephen. I'm really excited about a couple of areas on this upcoming year squad in particular, one being the offensive line. You mentioned these new coaches. I've heard you talk about them for the past couple of weeks. I think our offensive line is going to get back to that nasty, just imposing their will type of group that we as Alabama fans have become accustomed to. And then over on the defensive side of the ball as well, I think this could be, Pete Golden's swan song, for lack of a better term. I expect this defense to be absolutely sharp. And I'm just really excited, Stephen. I think that, and I'm going to make some Georgia fans mad here, hate to say it, but if we were healthy, I think Alabama wins the ring this past season. And I expect, barring, any kind of serious injuries or anything like that, that we will right that wrong this upcoming season and bring another championship back to Tuscaloosa.
I mean, Ricky, I feel the exact same way. And go back to the national championship game. Georgia and Kirby Smart knew the moment Jamison Williams went down, it was like, phew. Thank goodness we have nobody in the secondary that can cover that guy, that kind of speed. And the moment Williams went down, it became okay. We can try to lock up these other Bama receivers. Nobody else has the speed that guy, number one, has. So I think even Georgia knows. A healthy Jamison Williams on that night back on January 8th or the January 9th, whatever day that was, a healthy Jamison Williams, that game was a whole lot different.
let's see if they have an answer for a young man named Aaron Anderson this upcoming fall, because I've heard that he's got some wheels himself.
He does, man. He does. So that young man from Louisiana can go. He can burn. He can fly. So as we continue through spring practice, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. Appreciate it.
Alabama fans, if you're listening right now, do me a personal favor. Hit that like button. Get my man up to 100 likes for this evening's show. He should have already been there. And don't miss out on the opportunity to hit that notification bell. And if you're new, just tuning in, hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. This is the best place for Alabama football.
Appreciate my man Ricky Green calling out of Georgia. I mean, Ricky is becoming the hype man for us right now. Appreciate my man Ricky Appreciate my man Ricky for the love and support right there. We grabbed this call. Hear you live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Roll Tide, roll. Steven, this is William up here.
William, what's going on, man?
Oh, ain't nothing, man. I'm excited to see this here. I wish I could get that. What is it going to be on? You said it's going to be on SEC network, some special deal there. I can't
it's weird, William. I mean, SEC Network Plus. I mean, do we really have to stream this? Really?
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know people at times can have their gripe about Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway and ESPN. I get it, but at least everybody can see ESPN. They can see ESPN2. They can see ESPNU. I mean, SEC Network, that's fine, but Plus? Really?
Yeah. I ain't never heard of it. And anyway, to answer beer bottle in the chat there, I don't see Arch Manning going to Texas because they've already lost one quarterback. That Thompson went up there to Nebraska. So I just don't see Arch Manning going there and want to sit on the bench there. I just don't see it.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because I think all three schools are in position for Arch. But I'll say this. Pete Golding has built a great relationship with him as his primary recruiter. And since Pete Golding has been here in 2018, when you look at that Texas and Louisiana area, if Pete Golding knows how important that recruit is to Alabama, 9 times out of 10, Golding gets that kid to Tuscaloosa. So Golding has shown he can recruit, and with this relationship he's got built here with Arch, I got to roll with Golding on this one.
Oh, yeah, that's another plus for Golding there. I see. Also, somebody else earlier in the chat wanted to ask about, what's his name, Emmanuel Henderson? What's the update on him? Do you know?
Henderson will come in the summer. He'll be a summer enrollee. So of the two running backs, Jamarian Miller, the 4-star, he's the spring enrollee. The summer enrollee, which will be May, June, that will be Emmanuel Henderson.
Oh, and he's definitely coming then.
He's definitely coming. Will just be here in the summer.
I got you. All right, then, roll tide. Let somebody else on here.
Appreciate William, my man William from Iowa calling in there, showing love for the show. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yo, what's good? It's Mike from Greenbelt.
Mike, what's happening, brother?
Maryland. Yeah, so I was just trying to figure out what's going on with my boy Kyrie Jackson down there. What's the reports? How you looking?
Kyrie Jackson is in position for that second corner spot, man. It's a fight there between him and Kool-Aid, and Terrion Arnold's out there also. But the one good thing about Kyrie, he got playing time a season ago. He had a couple of pass breakups. I've always liked his size at 6'3", and him playing receiver at a high school up there in Maryland. He knows where the receivers are going to break and try to get the ball. So I like the tools. I like the talent. He's growing. He's doing good.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that, man. I just wanted to get an update on that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Mike there for calling in out of Maryland right there. Kyrie's doing okay. He's doing fine. Now, my thing is locking up that second cornerback spot. I know so many people think you can't just give Eli Ricks one of the two corner spots. Well, it's not being given to him. He comes in with huge experience in the SEC. And you don't just pull somebody out of the portal if you didn't feel like you didn't need that guy, right? That's almost like if you didn't feel like you could get homegirl's number, you wouldn't go holler at Shawty. If you felt like you couldn't get her number, you hollered at her because you felt like, I'm finna bag this number. It's the same thing here with Coach Saban. If Coach Saban felt like, I don't need to get Eli Ricks from this portal, he doesn't make that move. But because he makes the move, he felt like Mr. Ricks can add some value to our secondary, especially with his experience coming over from LSU and SEC program. So I think he is definitely going to start at one of those two corner spots. In the other corner, it's going to be a battle with Kyrie Jackson, with Kool-Aid McKinstry, with Terrion Arnold. Which one of these three, you can throw Traquan Fagans out there as well, nabs that spot. But Kyrie's doing fine, having a really good spring. We're having a good spring on his end. But we're going to go to a quick topic here, 205-448-1358. Still a number to call in to give your thoughts on the show, 205-448-1358. And as we go to this topic here of my man Jahim Otis, young man from Columbia, Mississippi, he is not playing around, y'all. I mean, think about this. He comes in at 6'4", 370 pounds, big dude. With the help of a nutritionist, he's dropped nearly 50 pounds, 46 pounds to be exact. So he's now 324 pounds and moving quick. I was talking to a couple of guys I know in the program following the scrimmage. They're like, Steven, Otis's first steps, boom, bam, he in the backfield. Boom, bam, he clacking a running back. Boom, bam, he clacking a quarterback. Like, Jahim Otis, first steps, lightning, quick, brother can move. And he even posted on social media his performance from the scrimmage. Otis said he had a few tackles, a sack, a couple of quarterback hurries, so he will steal some playing time. He will steal some reps from some veterans. He'll steal some reps. I think he's the future down the road at that nose guard position because of just how determined he is. But I think early on, especially this upcoming fall, he will snatch some reps from a few guys because we're already seeing how determined this young man is. It's going to be fun to watch him in the spring game. But, folks, we're going to go to our final break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, Nick Saban had some very high marks to say about this team as a whole for the coming fall. We'll talk about that after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Fun show. Man, it's been a fun show here on a Monday, rocking and rolling with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. In my own words, #1 form here for Crimson Tide football news. Appreciate all of you checking us out today. The donations, the love, the chats, the conversation. Continue hitting that thumbs up, hitting that like button, running those likes past the moon, making this your show, your network, your platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide. And before we get into final topic right here, I got to remind you of TDAwear.com. It's tdawear.com. So for all of your fashion, culture, clothing, swagger, sauce, drip needs, you love hearing touchdown, Alabama. You go right now, tdawear.com. Get yourself ready for the A-Day game and the upcoming fall right now by going to tdawear.com. Do your shopping right there. Link in the description. Show that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But one thing that Coach Saban was very happy about following the first scrimmage was the attitude of this team. He likes the attitude of this team. Now, ultimately, there are some things that Bama's going to have to improve on. We know this. It's the first scrimmage of spring ball. Everything is not set in stone yet. Everything's not, gelling all the way yet. There's still some areas to be worked out, and we all understand that, and I understand that. But to hear Nick Saban speak on the attitude, though, the mindset, the mentality, the focus, much better, way better than what it was at this time a season ago and early on through last season. And, Coach Saban mentioned there are no complainers on this team. There's nobody complaining. There's nobody down and out. There's nobody griping. Everybody is about that work. You are seeing competition across the board. You're seeing, hey, if you ain't ready, I'm taking your spot. You're seeing freshmen stepping up. You're seeing upperclassmen stepping up. You're seeing leadership rounding into form. And it's not just one or two guys. It's more than that now. When you talk about when Will Anderson speaks, people listening. When Bryce Young speaks, people listening. When Jameer Gibbs speaks, people listening. When Jermaine Burton speaks, people listening. When Jordan Battle speaks, people listening. That leadership is rounding fully into form. When Henry To'o speaks, folks listening. So now it's more than just one or two guys. Now you got several guys owning those leadership roles, and the players behind them are following that lead. This is becoming more of a players-policed team. And those have been the groups that have won the national championships. 2009, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017, 2020. All of those teams were player-policed. Coach Saban, yeah, he had some words. Yeah, he said some things. The assistant coaches, yeah, they said some things. But 90% of that action was coming from the players. That peer-to-peer leadership where you fell out of line, your own peer checked you before Coach Saban and the coaches get into the door. So that's what Saban is very excited about where this team is concerned. He's seeing more peer-to-peer leadership. He's seeing much better attitude. He's seeing much better focus. He's seeing much better mindset, much better intensity, and a group that's locked into, hey, we let the ball slip last season. We ain't finna let that happen again. Our goal is to get back to that national championship, which will be in California for 2023, and take home that college football playoff trophy. That's the goal this time around. So it is really cool to see these young men have that mindset, have that focus, have that intensity, rounding into form. Nobody complaining, nobody griping. We all in on one goal, on one focus. Get back to that national championship. Be physical, be mean, be dynamic, be tough, be electric, be sound, be at what we know this Alabama standard is from the guys that laid it down prior to us coming into the program. So really happy about the message that Coach Saban provided on this team mentality-wise, right where it needs to be at. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program, that being your Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app, and you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Appreciate my man Spencer Revley with that $5 donation, the Super Chats, and El Presidente Waylon with that $4.99, helping us out here on the show, making this their show, their network, platform, channel, space to talk Bama. And William Bryant has come in here with that 50-piece, that $50 donation. Appreciate the love from all of you, doing an outstanding job making this your form of entertainment right here in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA. As always, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link also in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That's weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description as well. Gotta shout out Jamie Wilhelm again with that $9.99 in the Super Chats. That daily Super Chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate you guys. Gucci Todd, not to be outdone, $5 on his own credit into the Super Chats. You guys are awesome. You guys are phenomenal. Appreciate you guys for the donations, the conversations, the calls, the interactions. Appreciate my man Patrick P. Money Down is always sliding through. Breaking news reporter for TDA, helping us out there in that first segment. My man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, hopping on as well. And also the finest, baddest man on the ones and twos. I'm telling you, Dr. Dre got nothing on my man John Ivory in that studio. Appreciate the actual man behind the chronic too. That would be John Ivory helping me out here, keeping me in line doing this show here. But as always, Tide Nation, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. Be sure to get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, you protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the college basketball NCAA tournament championship game tonight between Kansas and North Carolina. Winner take all. I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing with the Bama conversation. Until next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen M. Smith, and this is In My Own Words.